We all want to live a peaceful and happy life. Let's face it, at the end of the day, it's not how much you have or how much you have accomplished. What matters is how well you have participated in your own life and how happy you are. It's how you feel inside when you lay your head on the pillow. Does a feeling of joy and well being accompany you to bed? Or does your head touch the pillow with thoughts of anger, bitterness, helplessness, frustration, self disappointment, or complaints? When life seems to toss us around with its ups and downs, many demands and many voices telling us what we need and what is wrong with us. So, how do we gain skill when we find ourselves continuing to do what we have promised ourselves that we will never do it again? How do we gain skill when we feel stuck in a dead end job that is sucking us dry? How can I gain skill to let go to the one I love, I care, but she doesn't? Gaining the skill to choose our attitude, to choose what we think, and to choose what we do may be the greatest adventure we can take as a human being. If you wish to be successful, live a life of integrity, achieve a clear conscience, an unbreakable will, and the ability to manifest what we need when we need it, including wisdom and guidance for right decisions, let us understand how Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga can come to our rescue. Friends, I believe the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali describes an eightfold path to the right living that is called the eight limbs of yoga or Ashtanga in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, Ashtanga means eight-limbed. Ashtanga Yoga is an eight-limbed path towards achieving the state of yoga, also known as samadhi. In the practice of yoga, individuals are dedicated to creating a union between mind, body, and spirit. Patanjali's eight-limbed outline a way to achieve and practice that balance. The eight limbs act as a guide for yogis to live a life of integrity, self discipline, respect for nature, and the spiritual aspects of life. The definition of the eight limb path that leads to yoga is found in second chapter of the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. That is Yama Niyama Asana Pranayam Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhiyo Ashtavangani. Friends, as you start practicing these teachings, we become nobler, more compassionate, and happier people until one day we find ourselves in joyful liberation. Our lasting happiness is measurable by the sustained inner peace we feel and our ability to remain grateful and ever minded, regardless of external circumstances. Then we are true yogis. The practice of the yamas and niyamas definitely inspires us to remember that yoga is a way of life, not just something we do for 90 minutes 3 times a week on a rectangular yoga mat. In fact, if they are interwoven in every fabric of our life, every moment becomes sadhana. That is a spiritual practice. They add the necessary juice to our practice. Without them, the rest of the eight limbs, that is asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, will become useless, empty, mechanical, and boring techniques. The yamas and niyamas are our foundation. Practicing yoga is much more than the postures. Learning to integrate the full on and off the mat practice, including observing the 5 yamas and niyamas, that is yoga's guide on social and personal ethics. Your daily life can transform you and your yoga practice. Our thoughts action, decision, interactions with others, our daily routine, our surrounding, everything can reflect the extent of our yoga practice. Friends, I believe yamas and niyamas can help us to be focused and goal oriented in life. The yamas and niyamas are foundational to all yogic thoughts. Yoga is a sophisticated system that extends far beyond doing yoga postures. It is literally a way of living. Yoga is designed to bring you more and more awareness of not only your body but also your thoughts. The teachings are a practical, step by step methodology that brings understanding to your experiences, while at the same time pointing the way to the next experience. They are like a detailed map telling you where you are and how to look for the next landmark. They facilitate taking ownership of your life and directing it towards the fulfillment that you seek. So let us break and see what is the meaning of yama. So the word yama is often translated as restraint, moral discipline, or moral vow. And Patanjali states in the next sutra that is, these vows are completely universal, no matter who you are or from where you come from, your current situation or where you are heading. To be moral can be difficult at times, which is why this is considered as a very important practice of yoga. Remember that the word yoga means unity, wholeness, or connectedness. Of course, it is important to be mindful, gentle, and present in class. But if that doesn't translate off the mat and connect into what we do in our day-to-day lives, we will never feel the real benefits of yoga. The yamas traditionally give us, it's a guide towards practice concerned with the world around us, but often we can take them as a guide of how to act towards ourselves too. There are 5 yamas in total listed in Patanjali's Sutra, chapter number 2, verse number 30. Says, Ahimsa satya asteya brahmacharya aparigraha yamaha. Ahimsa, that is non-harming or non-violence, thought, words or deed. Satya, that is truthfulness. Asteya, that is non-stealing. Brahmacharya, celibacy, that is right use of energy. Aparigraha, non-greed or non-holding. By considering these aspects in our daily practice on and off the yoga mat, all our thoughts, decisions, and actions come from a more considered, aware, and higher place. And this leads us towards being more authentic towards ourselves and others. The niyamas. The word niyama often translates as positive duties or observances and are thought of as recommended habits for healthy living and spiritual existence. They are traditionally thought of as practices concerned with ourselves, although, of course, we can think of them as affecting the outside world too. There are 5 niyamas in total listed in Patanjali's Sutra, chapter number 2, verse number 32. Saucha, Santosha, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhanani, Niyama. Saucha means cleanness. Santosha, that is contentment. Tapas, discipline, austerity, or burning enthusiasm. While Swadhyaya, study of the self and of the text. Ishvara Pranidhana is surrender to a higher being or contemplation of a higher power. Iyengar describes both the yamas and niyamas as the golden keys to unlock the spiritual gates, as they transform each action into one that originates from a deeper and more connected place within ourselves. Whether you consider yourself spiritual or not, thou, and whether you practice yoga or not. These are all ways in which we can help ourselves and the world around us to be a better place. If we are to really benefit from a yoga practice, it has to go expand beyond the mat and into the life. When this happens, it's not just our bodies that get stretched, expanded, and strengthened, but our minds and our hearts as well. From that state of being, we more ever closer towards wholeness, connectedness, and unity. And start to not just do yoga, but live and breathe it in each and every movement. Friends, in the next video, we will focus on the 5 yamas and niyamas in total listed in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. That is ahimsa, non-harming, non-violence. Satya, truthfulness. Asteya, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, that is celibacy or the right use of energy. Aparigraha, non-greed or non-hoarding. Take care. Keep smiling. Namaste.